Hey everybody, Bearded Rogue here. So this is extremely late today. I didn't record a video last night because I was actually at my weekly gaming session, and so that kind of threw me behind a little bit. Didn't have a chance to record during the day today, so this is when I'm recording. It's really late at night, but I didn't want to miss a day. I was really good about it last year, and I want to continue to be good about it this year. Tomorrow, Friday, you'll still see my answers to my 2 truths and a lie. So if you haven't given me an answer yet or placed your bets on which is the truth or which is the lie, you have until about middle of the day tomorrow to do so, about noon Eastern time. But that's a whole other thing entirely. So this video, because it's so late, I've decided that I'm going to do an Ask Tony session. I haven't done one of these this time around, and the month is approaching the midpoint and soon its end, and so I really wanted to give people an opportunity to put any questions out there that they want answered for me to answer. I'm pretty much open to anything, whether it's gaming or me personally or my designs or wrestling or just anything in general. I'm reserve the right to not answer any specific questions on camera necessarily. I'll try to answer everything, but I'm pretty wide open as far as things go. So if you have a question you want to ask, please do. You can either ask it on the YouTube comments for this video, or you can tweet me at Bearded Rogue on Twitter. I'll accept questions either way. If you want to DM me, that's fine. If I'm on your Facebook, you can also get me there, or you can message me on Facebook. Just however you want to submit your questions, please do, and I'm going to try to do a question and answer video sometime next week. So we'll go through all the questions I get and answer them all there if I have enough for a video, and if I don't, then I'll just probably give you all answers and then move on. But I thought it might be fun, so that's what I'm putting up for today. As far as filling out this video with a little bit more content, last night I played some really awesome games. You can see Godfather New Dawn right up here. That game is fantastic. I demoed it quite a bit at Gen Con, and I finally got my copy to the table, and I'm so happy that I did. It's really quick playing. Like, it looks really impressive on the table. The board's really large. You've got dudes all over the map. But it is not really a dudes on a map game. It is an area control game. And it plays in less than 45 minutes or less. Like, I think we played in a little over half an hour. We probably ended the game one turn too early because one of the players decided to fill up one of the regions and trigger the end game even though they weren't ahead. But that's just kind of the nature of the beast in your first playthrough. We were mostly just getting the rules down, but super fun. Everybody in my group liked it. We will probably play it again, I am sure. We also played Lotus here in this pretty white box. Lotus is also super fast. I was expecting it to be about a half an hour game, and I don't think either of our games went over 20 minutes. And I think now that everybody knows how to play, it would go even faster. I will give you this piece of advice for Lotus. Upgrades are much more important than points in the early game. The first flower you complete should be an upgrade. If I had to give you my advice, I would say concentrate on the upgrade that gives you the 2-power Guardian for control so that you can get control more easily and therefore get more upgrades and more points. If you are the only person who does not have your Guardian upgrade, you are going to be hurting for getting points. That's just one of the things that we observed. As far as the other upgrades go, having an extra card in hand was okay. Being able to play 3 cards at a time was okay. But I really, personally, our group feels that the Guardian is by far the most powerful, especially in the early game. Also, don't discount the shuffling your hand action, like putting cards on the bottom of your deck to get 2 more cards that are seemingly random could be seen as a weaker action to take on your turn. It's actually very powerful to cycle cards. If you're cycling cards, you're not putting out flowers for other people to build off of, which in a game with 4 players, like we played it, is pretty important and leaves you kind of flexible as far as what you're doing. You're kind of hoping that other players will start the flowers so that you can cap them all off, or that you know what kind of target number you need to hit as far as control goes, so you know whether to bother engaging in that particular battle or not. So don't discount that action. Anyway, played both of those games. We also played a game that I do not own, that somebody in my group owns, called Credit Mobiler, that they picked up at Gen Con. It's a dice game. I think it's from Rio Grande Games. It looks horrible, and the board does not want to stay flat, but the game is actually really good. It's a stock market dice game where you are building train tracks and shipping cargo, and all of the tracks and cargo have particular colors, and so anytime you ship cargo, you increase the price of a stock of that color. Anytime you use train tracks of that company's color, you increase the price of that stock, and then you can have the stocks pay out dividends periodically, depending on what you roll. There's also the Credit Mobiler. Anytime you place track, it gets points, or it gets money on it, and then you can collect dividends on it as well. So overall, the whole thing is really, really well integrated. It's a dice game, but the dice really allow you to choose what you want to do with your turn. I didn't feel like the dice screwed me. I feel like the dice determined what my options were as far as in the early game, they kind of gave me which direction I was being steered in, and by the late game, they made it possible to facilitate what I wanted to do. Some of the options occasionally were obvious, but that's mostly because of actions I'd already taken, which brought the game to a pretty satisfying conclusion, and while I definitely lost, it was very fun, and I would totally play it again, even if we had to make a handmade board for it that didn't sit on the table all wonky. We're probably going to have to flatten it out or something in order to be able to play it more often. But, yeah, we played all those. When I arrived, they were playing a game of Bloodborne. I was very glad to see this game of Bloodborne went better than the game that I played at Gen Con. It looks like there is one boss that you can play against that I would recommend not playing against ever. Large groups especially, but basically if somebody dies twice, then they're out of the game permanently. In the game of Bloodborne, it is very likely for you to die more than twice, especially if you're not somebody who grabs the repeating pistols or some of the other weapons that allow you to ignore damage. If you don't grab those weapons, you're going to die. It's just going to happen. That, or you're basically playing your retreat card, your Hunter's Dream card, like every third turn, or every other turn, which is a lot less fun than it could be. That boss led to a 5-player game becoming a 2-player game, and half of the game was the rest of the people sitting around watching us play to determine who won. And that's my least favorite kind of player elimination, where the game goes on for, half an hour more after people are out of it. Not fun. The other boss, the boss that they played with last night, was actually really cool and worked really well, and so I think as long as you don't play with the boss that eliminates people from the game, I would play it anytime I was asked. The mechanics are solid, it's an Eric Lang game, and it really does feel like you're sort of cooperating, but you're in it for yourself. In a way that isn't backstabby. Like, it doesn't feel like you're deliberately sabotaging the other players. You're more selfish than adversarial, and I think that's kind of neat. Anyway, so, yeah, that's enough. Again, send me questions. by whatever means you are most comfortable, and I'll look at answering them either over whatever medium you choose or on video sometime next week. So that's it. Bearded Rogue, out.